Take Her Own Diary. It is currently day 22. So I lost my way a little bit with writing the news, so hopefully I've got today's right. But before we get into that, I just want to talk about something that's been an issue for me. So late yesterday, it dawned on me that I'm due my B12 injection next week. Now, if you didn't already know, I do have B12 deficiency along with a lot of other health conditions, whether they're physical or mental. Sadly, I seem to suffer in a lot of ways. But anyway, you don't need to hear about all of that. I do have B12 deficiency. I said to my partner that I was petrified that I'd have to go to the surgery for an injection. It would mean that I'd have to break my isolation. So if you didn't know, I am classed as high risk, which means that I've not been out the front, I've not been to the shops or outside into the public at all for 3 weeks. This is day 22. I'm also isolated from the rest of my family, so I'm in this room most of the time, other than when I let my partner know I need to go and get some fresh air in the garden, to do a bit of walking. And then everybody is shut away in another room for me to be able to vacate to the garden, and then I have to let them know that I'm in the garden so that they can all come out. And sometimes they'll stand in the utility room talking to me, or perhaps just the other side of the door, but they can't come to the other side of the garden with me. So as you can imagine, I've been absolutely petrified of going to the doctor's surgery. Obviously, there's that risk going into a doctor's surgery of transmission. I don't know what's been happening with my local doctor's surgery. And there is that small question of how safe it is getting to the doctor's surgery and back again as well. So it's not just about being in a doctor's surgery, it's about getting there and getting back. So my partner rang the surgery. It was 6 p.m. and it hadn't crossed my mind they'd still be open, but he rang them up and he told them that I was due my injection and told them of my concerns and that we were really worried about me leaving the home because I'm high risk for various reasons, including the fact that I've had pneumonia seriously in the past, being assessed with ICU. So yeah, I've been saved by the NHS, which is why I'm so adamant that everybody should be clapping every Thursday night. But yeah, so he explained everything over the phone, and the woman on reception said, okay, I'll let you know. We'll get someone to call her in the morning. And he explained that I've got chronic fatigue syndrome and I'm not up before 12-ish. So they said, well, they'll ring about then and discuss it with me. But basically, they were trying to give people the B12 orally instead of as an injection. So as you can imagine, I felt so relieved, and well, I was almost kind of skipping about. I was so happy. Well, not skipping, I can't physically do that, but you know, you get the expression. I was so relieved and so happy to think that perhaps I might not even have to leave the house or go to the doctor's surgery. So there's that. So I have actually lost sleep about it because I've been so scared about leaving the house, and that meant that I was able to rest a bit knowing that I probably won't have to. So that was amazing. I'm so glad that my partner made that phone call for me. So everyone's okay. I have got a bit of a cold this morning and I'm hoping it's nothing. So yeah, that's that. I hope everyone else is well. Please let me know that you're okay. I really do like to know, because I have more of a sort of friendship going along in discussions with people. I know people that come back, and so if you're somebody that's returning, it's nice to know that you're okay as well. I'm telling you that I'm okay, but I'd love to hear that you're all right too. So yeah, let's get stuck into the news. So England's medical officer has said it would be a mistake to discuss how the government will end the UK's coronavirus lockdown until it is certain the disease has peaked. So he's not willing to discuss things until we've passed the peak, which I completely understand, to be honest. He also said the effective antibody test could take months to develop. Now, it did creep out into the news yesterday that the government had managed to purchase millions of dud antibody tests. And that's all I saw of that. So Tesco relaxes purchase limit and gets back to normal stock levels. Limit lifted on all but loo rolls, cleaning products, packets and tinned food, fresh eggs and home baking. So basically anything other than what I've just said, they've lifted the limit. So there's no limits on things other than those items in Tesco's right now. So they are obviously doing a really good job. I don't have a Tesco's local to me, so I wouldn't really know. But that's possibly something that you might not know, you might not have seen anywhere. So I thought it'd be worth mentioning, because obviously I want to make sure that everyone that's watching this has an understanding and can kind of get as much info as I can possibly find. I want to know these things to look back on anyway, so it's, you know, it's not entirely about other people. I do need to know these things just in case suddenly we needed a Tesco's, and in the future it's interesting to look back over all of the news and things that went on. Work on a temporary mortuary in Bristol is starting tomorrow. A total of 107 prisoners in 38 prisons in England and Wales were diagnosed with the virus 5 p.m. on Sunday. The death toll is currently at 5,373. I also saw members of special body recovery teams tasked with collecting people who have died in their homes after contracting virus have been warned they should not underestimate how unpleasant this task is going to be. I wouldn't like to think. I really wouldn't. New York has announced it might start temporarily burying victims of coronavirus in a park because the city's morgues are almost full. Now that's really not the sort of news you really want to be seeing. It's awful, absolutely awful. My heart goes out to those families right now. Something else that got me yesterday was that all smokers have been urged to quit their habit, and cigarette companies have been told to stop producing and selling tobacco during the coronavirus pandemic. I never thought I'd see the day that they tell you to stop. So I felt relieved that I gave up when I saw that. The reason being is it was the last time I had pneumonia, which is what kicked me into giving up smoking. I took one puff of my cigarette last time I had pneumonia and I couldn't breathe. It was horrendous. And I haven't had a cigarette since, and I don't anticipate I ever will. I'd battled with smoking for so many years of my life, and towards the end I did have spells where I stopped and started a lot, but it's something I was very addicted to, and I'm glad I don't do it after seeing that news. If you're able to give up, I would really recommend you do. Although being an ex-smoker, I do understand that at this point in time people do need them more than ever because of the stress levels. So I do empathise with you, I do understand, so please don't think I don't. So I've had pneumonia 3 times. The first time I had it I was hospitalised, and I was in hospital for a while. I was assessed with the ICU in the hospital. I went into the hospital on 80% oxygen. I was in a very, very bad way, and hence the reason why I keep asking everybody to show their appreciation to the NHS, because I, for one, am lucky to be here. That's not the only occasion that I've had dangerous health issues that the hospital have dealt with, but in this current situation, I can see how lucky I've been. It's opened my eyes a lot. I've had pneumonia twice since, and I've been medicated at home, but as of the first occasion that I was hospitalised for, it caused scarring to my lungs, which means my lungs are now weaker. And then when I had a pneumonia after that and decided to smoke, I had one puff of a cigarette that particular day, the last time I smoked, and I couldn't breathe, and I've never looked back. It felt so dangerous, it's unreal, I can't tell you. So yeah, I obviously did it at the right time, I guess. I saw that Boris Johnson is still in hospital because his symptoms remain persistent, so there was that. I then saw that Sir Elton John, Sir Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder will perform in a live TV special under the direction of Lady Gaga to support healthcare workers in the fight against COVID-19, which I thought was pretty amazing. And the last bit of news I saw a bit later on was that Boris Johnson was moved to the ICU unit as he was deteriorating. So that wasn't great news to be seeing either. None of it's good, to be honest. It's all very negative and very sad and very stressful and very anxious. It's a hard time for everybody, and my heart goes out to every last person that's watching this right now. I want you all to be safe. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be okay. There are moments when I read this news out to you every day where I want to just sit and cry, sit in the corner and cry, because it's awful. I get to the end of reading it all, and because I've gone through so much in such a little space of time, it really does make me feel so emotional, and it's so difficult. And when I turn the camera off, I have a moment to myself, a moment to reflect. I just hope you're all very well at the moment. I have the most amazing subscribers. You've all been very supportive. You've all been amazing, so kind, so nice, and you are genuinely lovely people, and I'm so glad of having such great subscribers. So please, stay safe, stay healthy, look after yourselves, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. Bye.